Hey, I'm unhinged. What's up, everybody? I've had some technical difficulties. I got on my computer and my camera wouldn't work because it required a software update, which is not something that I was expecting. And now I'm getting an end stream. No, this is crazy. I don't know what's happening. But you know what? I'm on vacation. I don't need this shit. So I'm here. I got some unhinged bullshit to get over with everybody. So let's start the show. Okay, we're going now. I am in Phoenix, Arizona right now, home of the Phoenix Cardinals and the Phoenix Suns, and it's 100+ degrees here. And I had a 12-hour drive yesterday. I'm not in my house. I'm not in my studio. I'm in my son's living room and making the best of it. So the first thing I want to talk about today is fucking slow drafts. Now, I know that slow drafts are something that come with the territory. And my autism doesn't handle having an 8-hour clock very well when people don't make their picks. And I have to balance getting so frustrated with waiting to make my pick, because what happens is I'm 16 picks away and I know who I want to take, but I have to wait for everybody to take the fucking time to get to their fucking computer or their phone, make their choice, whatever. Okay, I know that's going to happen. Slow drafts are an inevitability. Do I prefer getting together with the homies, cracking open some cold ones with the boys, and everybody going on a 2-minute timer? Yeah, of course. Everybody likes that. But I know that sometimes, in particular this 30-round startup draft where I have the 11 pick, there are going to be some times where I might go a day without picking. But my brain is like, when am I going to pick? 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 Now that's bad, okay? But I know that I have to deal with it. Then on the other hand, I'm in a Dynasty league that is doing their rookie draft. I had the 3rd overall pick, and it got to me, and I picked Tedero McMillan. But the first pick had been skipped. Then the draft got restarted because the guy didn't make his pick. So then he picked Ashton Genty, and the next guy picked Omari and Hampton. And lo and behold, there I am a day later taking Tedero McMillan again. Then the 4 pick comes up with an 8-hour clock. We are 4 picks into this fucking rookie draft, and we've had 2 clock timeouts. You get emails saying when the draft is going to start. You can go to the draft room. You can go to the league rules. It's on MFL, which, hey, MFL sucks. I get it. There's a Discord. We're updating people on when they get to fucking pick, and we have 2 8-hour clock timeouts in the first 4 picks. Yeah, I'm unhinged about it. And you would be too. All right. So now let's get to Mailbag. I figured this can be an abbreviated show because I don't got time for this shit. All right. I got a letter from somebody in the mailbag. Basically, what had happened was they were doing a mock draft. They were helping out a friend. Is that friend me? No. Is the subject me? Am I just saying this to use an excuse to use the mailbag video? Yeah. I mean, no. So a friend shoots out a message to everybody. Hey, come join this mock draft. It's for a show. Get involved. Let's get together, whatever. I do it. I get in it. What is the mock draft? It's a startup dynasty mock draft. Okay. So I'm sitting there in the 2-hole and I'm watching the picks go, and we get to round 4, and the 12 pick drafts his 3rd quarterback. I think you heard me correctly. He drafted his 3rd quarterback in the first 4 rounds of a startup. That's weird, I says to me. Now, the draft keeps going, comes around to the 5th round, and the 11 pick picks his third quarterback. So now we're 5 rounds into this draft, and 2 teams already have their third quarterbacks. So I jump into the comments, and I say, that's weird. You don't see that a lot. 3 quarterbacks gone in the first 4 rounds. And I get some pushback in the comment section. They started shading me. Oh, this is Dynasty 101. You don't know ball. Excuse me? So I go back and I start looking through some of the history of the actual Dynasty startups that I've done with some fucking expert drafters like Undroppable Zone Chalk, founder, no big deal. Wrote The Art of Dynasty, no fucking big deal. Jax Falcone, one of the leaders in the game. Guess what? There were teams that didn't draft their third quarterback until the 16th round. It's not Dynasty 101. It's fucking loser ball 101. You don't draft 3 quarterbacks. What are we trying to do here? We're trying to put players on our bench in the 4th round? Fuck you. Calling me out, shading my shit. Fuck off. That's not how you play Dynasty. Okay, I'm in a current Dynasty startup. Guess what? We're in round 10. Guess how many teams have 3 quarterbacks? 2. So fuck all the haters. Fuck you fuckers that were in my fucking comments talking shit. And you know what? I wanted to post everything. And where did it go? It's right here. Is that it? So here goes. This is the thread. I say, man, 3 QBs in the first 5 of a mock draft is wild. Not really. Not if some teams are QB starved. It's not a rookie mock. You're not QB starved. Go heavy on quarterbacks and make others trade you. You know when I did that? I did that in my first Dynasty draft. I took 3 tight ends with my first 3 picks because I was thinking I'm going to collect George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and Darren Waller, and then I'll have a glut of tight ends and people will trade me draft picks and stuff like that. That's beginner Dynasty thinking. So no better commodity in Superflex than a quarterback? Sure. I said, oh, I didn't realize we were collecting commodities. I thought we were trying to score the most fantasy points. All right. So then I got, you draft the highest value. That's fantasy, lol. Yeah, but you have to take into consideration things like positional scarcity, what the other drafters are going to do. And then I get day 1 stuff. Mocks are based on how you would draft in real life. So I said, please invite me to your leagues. I need more experience. I don't know. I'm in a whole lot of leagues and on a whole lot of shows with a whole lot of brilliant fucking ball knowers. And I've never heard anybody say as a suggestion, if you want to get better at Dynasty Fantasy Football, load up on 3 fucking quarterbacks, including a bench one in your first 4 picks. So fuck you. Fuck all you guys that shaded me. That's crazy. LOL, is it really a controversy? And then he said, must be. Blew his mind in a mock draft. Okay. You know what? Yeah, you blew my mind because you did one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever seen in a mock draft. So congratulations. You surprised me. Piece of shit. All right, this next segment is going to be particularly 2 segments in 1. I'll get to that in a sec.
Rookie. It's all about rookie talk in fantasy football right now. So why not go use all that knowledge to do something other than a mock draft? Chris Jimino won $8,000 with just 2 teams last year, and each draft took 5 minutes. That's pretty good ROI. You can start doing rookie drafts for money today on Fast Draft. The Origins tournament is live. It is the place to go and monetize your knowledge of rookies and use your favorite player profiler host promo code for a $25 deposit match. Now let's go start drafting faster.
All right. So this is basically overreactions and bold predictions that may not happen. And you can see from the thumbnail, I don't know what the fuck a thumbnail is. You can see from the thumbnail that I have sell on 3 players in particular. And the first one I want to talk about is Christian McCaffrey. Why am I selling Christian McCaffrey? Well, because he's old. That's first. And number 2, as I recall, the reports last year when he missed the majority of the season while being old was that he had tendonitis in both of his legs, feet, ankles, whatever. That's not good, you guys. That's lingering, debilitating, and chronic stuff that's not going to go away. So I'm in a startup right now. You think I'm targeting Christian McCaffrey? No, I'm not. I have zero faith that he's going to finish a full season. He might have some spike games. Great. That's not good for your dynasty rosters. So sell Christian McCaffrey. If you already hold, or if you're holding on to Christian McCaffrey, and all reports throughout camp are that, oh, he's in good shape, trade him for a 4th rounder after the first couple weeks. Because what's the worst that can happen? You're going to get a backup running back next year at worst, and you might watch Christian McCaffrey defy me and play out the whole season and be the RB1 in fantasy. Is there a 0 chance that happens? No. There is a non-zero chance that happens. It could happen. Is it likely to happen? No, and that's the business we're in. Number 2 is Alvin Kamara. Why Alvin Kamara? Well, he's old. Reports out of camp are that Spencer Rattler looks good throwing the football. Okay, so I watched personally, firsthand, what happens to a team that has a quarterback that is not a downfield threat whatsoever. What happens to that running back room? I'm wearing a Raiders hat right now. Guess what team was the worst in terms of yards before contact for their running backs? Yes, their offensive line didn't play as bad as the running backs actually were. They were very inefficient running backs. But you know what happened as soon as Gardner Minshew was announced as a starter? Every defense said, all right, 8 in the box. Man on receivers. Don't give him time. Once they snap the ball, there's a run rush coming, whether he's passing it or not. And the running back doesn't have room. And nobody in that backfield was efficient last year because there were too many people in the box. Aiden O'Connell stepped in a few games in, and guess what happened? He opened up the field a little bit, and you saw some games from Sincere McCormick that were good. Alexander Madison had a handful of touchdowns. Spencer Rattler can't throw the ball downfield. So what's going to happen to the New Orleans Saints running back room? It's going to get stuffed. Is their offensive line any good even? They were garbage last year. Did they make the necessary improvements? I don't think so. So now you have old man Kamara, who missed a bunch of time last year with an injury. Again, another guy coming off injury. Sell him. You might be able to find somebody who is willing to take a chance. That's not going to be me. The third one, and this is a little bit more sketchy because I have a little bit more faith in him, is James Conner. Now, Conner has had some injury bad luck throughout his career. And I said on a show last week that I'm trying not to buy into predicting injuries because everybody gets injured. But there is an element where you look at injury history and say he could repeat. Now, you have a situation like Chris Olave. Chris Olave has dealt with concussions while he's been in the NFL, and he had a pretty severe one last year. But I didn't fade him because you can't predict. There are wide receivers throughout NFL history that have had concussion problems for a little while and then didn't deal with them at all for the rest of their careers. You have Tua Tagovailoa, who a couple years ago had a concussion so bad, half of the community was like, bro, take the bag and go home, open up a liquor store and just like save your brain. And guess what he did? He came back last year and finished the entire season. Okay, great. So I don't want to predict injuries will happen, but there is an element that you have to look at. This guy is coming off an injury. It takes a while to ramp up. That's the Christian McCaffrey and the Alvin Kamara scenario. Now, James Conner, the one thing that gives me pause in selling him, which I sold him last year. Last year in a league, I traded him to a contender for Amika Buka and Tyler Warren. So 2 first-round rookie draft picks for James Conner. I think I did okay with that one. Now, Conner got a vote of confidence from the Arizona Cardinals this offseason. They signed him to a 2-year contract. So there is a piece of the Arizona Cardinals that thinks that James Conner is going to be okay. Now, I don't exactly like that for my shares of other running backs in the Arizona Cardinals backfield. But where I've had James Conner and didn't sell him off, I'm going to be looking to do that now. There's just no way to guarantee that he's going to finish the full season. He's just old. There's an age cliff for a reason. Yes, elite players, their age cliff is extended. You have 28 as the typical age cliff, which is why I wasn't in on Mixon last year. But you saw that when Mixon was actually on the field, he actually performed fantasy points per game wise very, very well. Problem was he wasn't on the field all the time. So availability is the best ability. Thank you. Thank you, Liam, in the peanut gallery. Not just in fantasy, but everywhere. Okay. Warren Sharp had a tweet today. Best quarterbacks in the fourth quarter in 2024. Number 1, Lamar Jackson. Number 2, Jaden Daniels. Number 3, Baker Mayfield. Number 4, Jalen Hurts. Number 5, Tua. Number 6, Flacco. Number 7, Jordan Love. Number 8, Matthew Stafford. Number 9, Patrick Mahomes. Number 11, Bo Nix. Number 12, Josh Allen. Number 13, Mac Jones. Number 14, Brock Purdy. Number 15, Jared Goff. Guess who was number 10? Anybody? Aiden motherfucking O'Connell. 10th best quarterback in fourth quarters in 2024. So suck on that.
Yeah, but Cam Miller.
Finally, Dynasty trade offers. Don't try and offer Patrick Mahomes for Jordan Love and Garrett Wilson. The only reason that I didn't smash decline quicker than I did was because I had to screenshot it and send it to the homies.
Is that an actual trade? Like,
yes, that was a trade offer I woke up to this morning.
Genuinely received. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them just got a wide receiver 1, and then one of them is the wide receiver 1 with a connection to his best friend. I could almost see it if I was still really high.
Yeah. Best friends trading if somebody's really high. All right,
That's like a Sean's trade.
Let's get to part 2 of predictions that probably won't happen. So there's a Twitter user. His name is @DeviYusuf, EUSUF. Fusue, FUSUE, which is Yusuf backwards. he's kind of a controversial, polarizing figure in the Twitter community. I absolutely love him. And I invited him onto this show, but he says he doesn't do podcasts, and that's fair. I didn't want to see, here's the thing about him. He creates a lot of controversy because he has hard-boiled takes that he flag plants really fucking hard, right? He's kind of the spiritual animal, the spiritual animal of this show. Like if this show had a Patronus, it would be Fusu. I don't know if I'm even saying that. It would be at Devi Yusuf. Okay, so what happens is he throws out a prediction, a tweet. He tweets something, and then he's got a lot of followers, and the comments are just filled with hate. Just so much. I don't see anybody on Twitter get that much pushback. Yes, you have trolls. Yes, you have guys who, when an expert in the industry says something, you get a few people that are like, you don't know ball or whatever. But this dude just gets a fucking stream of hate in his comment section. And I love it. And if there's anything that I respect, it's somebody who does that and then continues to do it. So my most famous tweet so far is last year in our rookie draft, I took Ladd McConkey with Rome Odunze on the board. I said, I just drafted Ladd McConkey over Rome Odunze in rookie draft, and I'm not going to apologize for it because I think Ladd McConkey is better than Rome Odunze. But at the time, Rome Odunze had a better ADP. And most experts were saying, had him ranked higher than Ladd McConkey, but not me. Different process, apparently. I had 60,000 views, which is obviously like I'm a small fish. But it's the most I've ever had. I had the most comments from any tweet that I've ever done. And most of those, the majority, over 60%, were, you're an idiot. But guess what I did? I didn't hear no bell. I got back up and continued to post unhinged, data-driven bullshit. And so I respect Fusu or Devi Yusuf. I respect him because he will throw something out and he'll take the hate and he'll run with it. I love following him. He's a great follow. So he tweeted out, and this is in relation to Reception Perception, Matt Harmon, another guy that I follow very closely. We have a good working relationship with James D. Coe. He's been on our shows before. Super nice guy. Voice of the Madden tournaments from like 5 or 6 years ago, which I didn't realize until he was on our show, and I was like, I know that voice. And then it hit me. Oh, that's the guy that when Pavin was like winning Madden tournaments, James D. Coe was the announcer. And that was awesome for me because I was like, I know this guy. So anyway, they have been talking about Rome Odunze, and they've been talking a lot about Keon Coleman. And essentially what happened is Matt Harmon did an analytical breakdown of Keon Coleman's route participation and where he lines up on the field in 2024, what the resulting stats were, and found that with his profile, with his inability to beat press man coverage at under 30%, the only wide receivers that have successful careers with that kind of profile are ones that are moved from the outside to the inside to play kind of a big slot role. Well, they already have a slot receiver in Khalil Shakir. And last year when the Bills drafted Keon Coleman, they said, we got our X, and that's how he lined up. And he was not successful at all. He had a stretch of 4 games that were good. He had a bunch of drops. He had a whole lot of like route participation where he wasn't targeted. And that's not good moving forward. And then you have Rome Odunze, who was even more highly valued as a prospect, goes to a situation where Caleb Williams was not very accurate with the football. DJ Moore is the alpha in the room. Keenan Allen was there. Shout out Cal Bears legend, Keenan Allen. And Cole Kmet was coming off 2 straight tight end 7 seasons. And Odunze, who I was drafting Jalen McMillan, or I had Jalen McMillan valued over him as the wide receiver coming out of Washington to own, simply because of ADP value, not necessarily based on performance or projection. I liked McMillan better. He outperformed Rome Odunze when both of them were healthy in Washington. So Odunze has this high ceiling. He's highly projected, highly ranked, and I faded him. I didn't draft any Caleb Williams. I didn't draft any Rome Odunze. And now they're in a situation where the Chicago Bears have Caleb Williams, who's hoping to take a step forward. Most of the work that they did on their team in the offseason was towards the offensive line, which is great. Protect him at all costs, whatever. That's their franchise, 101. Hopefully Ben Johnson coming in can be the boost that he needs. But they have DJ Moore, and DJ Moore has $27 million cap hit. That's not tradable, and it's not cuttable. So DJ Moore is not going anywhere for 25 and 26. He's not going anywhere. And he's the guy that makes the money. And what happens in the NFL is when the guy makes the money, the guy gets the looks. That's DJ Moore. They moved on from Keenan Allen because, he's over the hill. And they drafted Colston Loveland. Well, they have a top 10 tight end in their tight end room. And we know that it does take, unless you are, the most elite tight end ever named Brock Bowers, it does take some time to ramp up and be a productive tight end. But they drafted Colston Loveland, so now there's another mouth to feed. So what does that mean for Rome Odunze? Well, it means that there might be a chance that his role in that offense becomes analogous to Jameson Williams with the Detroit Lions. And DJ Moore runs more of a route tree like Amon-Ra St. Brown. We know that he's good at that. Then you have Luther Burden. Luther Burden got drafted by the Chicago Bears. Well, who's the analog to Luther Burden? DJ Moore. So yes, Rome Odunze might have a role that's singled out this year, but he's still got to deal with, can Caleb Williams improve his accuracy? And if he does that, what's happening with DJ Moore and Luther Burden? Is Luther Burden going to have another role? So all of these things are taken into consideration. It's one of those wide receiver cores that I liken to too many mouths to feed. You got the Green Bay Packers, you got the San Francisco 49ers, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, you got the Chicago Bears. You don't know on any given Sunday who the lead in that wide receiver room is going to be. So it's hard to put a finger on that in fantasy and spend high draft capital or trade picks for or trade players for somebody in those situations. Who led the Green Bay Packers in targets last year? Dontavian Wicks, not Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed was the wide receiver one, wasn't he? But he didn't earn all the targets. And then you had Romeo Doubs, and you had Christian Watson, and you had two tight ends, Musgrave and Kraft. There's a lot of mouths to feed. We know Josh Jacobs is capable of handling 50 to 60 targets, and they wanted to bring in Marshawn Lloyd to be a target running back too. So there's just too many targets for me personally to rely on anybody in the Green Bay Packers offense. San Francisco 49ers are the same. 1 week it's Brandon Ayuk. The next week it's Deebo Samuel. Those two guys get injured. Then it's Jawan Jennings. Now Ricky Pearsall is coming out of the woodwork. Christian McCaffrey's back. Isaac Guerrero showed some huge fantasy points per game spikes. And then they go out and they have Jacob Cowing, who's a fantastic route runner. And then you have the George Kittle factor. There's too many mouths to feed. I don't trust the guys in that offense to be wide receiver one or wide receiver two level. Can they? Yes. Am I going to put my faith in that? No. I'm going to go after a Terry McLaurin, who I know is the wide receiver one in the room and doesn't have a whole lot of target competition. I'm going to go for Brock Bowers, who I know is going to be the crux of that offense. Even though there are a few capable wide receivers in the Raiders room, I know that Brock Bowers is likely going to be the target lead. Those are the situations that I want to invest in, not something like the Bears. So all that to say, Fasu really took umbrage with Matt Harmon's idea of Keon Coleman being bad and loving Rome Odunze and his route profile, because his route profile was very green. If you know reception perception, you know what that means. Fasu tweeted $200. Says Keon Coleman will outscore Romo Dunze this year. Who wants in? If I lose, you guys split my 200. If I win, I get 200 from each of you. Now, that's a fantastic bet for him because you get 200 commenters. They all contribute $1. He gets 200, or he pays 200 to and splits it up. How are you going to do that if you have? He had 16.8 thousand views. If he wins, he gets 200 from each of them. Yeah, that's obviously that's tongue in cheek. He doesn't think Keon Coleman is going to outscore Romo Dunze. He may like Keon Coleman better than Romo Dunze. And he said PPR per game, each must play at least 10 games. The comments lit the fuck up, and it was crazy. People are not smart. They don't think. Do you think this guy was really invested in calling Keon Coleman over Romo Dunze with a bet like this? No. Who's going to take that seriously? Fucking think, people. Read, comprehend, process, and then react. Don't skip the two parts in the middle. And that's enough for this week. Thank you for watching.